Hey everyone, in this video we're going to dive into a powerful new feature we just released in Intugle, the ability to automatically detect composite keys and relationships. We'll take some raw disconnected basketball stats and in just a few minutes build a fully connected semantic model and create data products from it. Now why is this such a big deal? Because real world data is messy. Often a single column like an ID isn't enough to uniquely identify a record. You might need a combination of columns like a player ID and a team ID and a season to define a unique player contract. So let's get started. If you go to our GitHub page and you scroll down, you can see an example sections. And here you can see a notebook for composite relationship prediction. So let's just open that in Collab. I already have mine open here. Great. Now, first step, let's go ahead and install Intugle. We'll just give it a second. Great. Once that's done, just go to runtime and make sure you restart the session. All right, I'll just clear this output. Next, we have to download the datasets. Now, this is the basketball dataset from Bird Benchmark. Let's just go ahead and download it. And you can see that this gets downloaded in sample data here under professional basketball. So these are our datasets. All right, so Intugle uses a bunch of AI agents underneath the surface. So we'll have to set up our LLM keys here. I already will be loading mine from the .env file, which I have already uploaded here. You can check out the docs on how to configure these. Great, let's move on. So the first step is to define your data sets. So we have all our data sets here locally. Let's define the path. Now, these are the table names, and how you would define the data set is basically like this. It's a dictionary where you can define a table. And this is what it would look like. So the next table would also look like this. It's a list. It's a dictionary. It's a dictionary with the path, the type. The type will be the CSV, and this will be the path referring to the local path of your file, and this will be the name of the table that you want to use. Now, I've just used a simple loop here to build this dynamically. So let's get rid of this and let's use this. Great. Now the magic happens. Let's import the semantic model module from Intugle and let's pass in our data sets. And we'll also give it a domain. A domain is basically a description of what the data set is about so that the semantic model is able to generate textual business glossaries for your data. So now let's go ahead and call the build method on our data sets. Okay, so what happens behind the scenes is a bunch of AI agents start going through the data. They start profiling your data. They start identifying the data types. Is it a dimension or a measure? It starts predicting relationships, both single links and composite links, and also generates business glossaries for your data. Basically, it's building a semantic layer. Okay, it has finished. Now let's just head down and let's pick out one particular dataset, the players table. We can access it through the datasets dictionary, and we're going to see the profiling DF property. Now we can see what Intugle discovered about this dataset. So let's just run this. And as you can see, we have the column names in this table. We have what was the data type that was identified. Was it a dimension or a measure? The business glossaries generated for each column, the business tags, some profiling metrics here, and the sample data from the columns. So we can switch to an interactive table here to see it better. Great. We can also see the relationships that were discovered, and this includes the single links and the composite links. So let's see what the relationships look like. So as you can see, this is the list of all the relationship objects. And if you look closely, you can see that there is a from columns. In this case, this is a composite key. We have the coach ID and the year going to the two columns of the coach's dataset. And you will also see single links as well, as you can see. So it's a mix of both the single and the composite key links. Great. This is the new feature in action. We can also visualize this in a neat knowledge graph. So let's just run the visualize function. And as you can see, this is what it looks like. And the solid lines are simple key links and the dashed lines are composite key links. So you can see how every table connects to other tables and whether if it's a composite key or a single key. Perfect. So this was the semantic layer in action. You can see so here we accessed it through variables. You can also access this as YAML files if you go into the Intugle folder and open the models inside Intugle. So you can open each of these files and get pretty much everything that we just saw here. Great. You can also try out the semantic search feature. You just need a quadrant instance running either remotely or locally. Unfortunately, since I'm in a Google Lab notebook, there is no quadrant instance here. So I would be skipping through this. But if you had a quadrant server, this is what the results would look like. Let's say you can search on the semantic model for player education. And you would see an output where the closest fields related to player education, the closest columns would come out on top. So here you can see that the player's high school country, state, high school, all of these columns related to player education has come out on top. So that is the semantic search feature, a very powerful feature. All right, now let's come to data product creation. Now that Intugle understands how everything is connected, we can define data products that we want and it'll figure out how to build it. So let's create a data product that shows a player's history across different teams. So here I have my data product specification. Here I'm defining what all fields that I want. And note that I'm only specifying the field and its corresponding table names. I'm not handling any complex SQL or joins which I have to manually make. I'm just saying, hey, this is what I want. And you can also see I'm also asking for some measures. Some are averages, some are sums, and I'm also filtering it here for a particular player. So this is the data product config. How to build this config, you can check out our documentation to get a detailed understanding on how to build this config. So let's go ahead and run this. And now we import the data product module from Intugle and we instantiate it and we pass in this particular config that we just defined above. And we go ahead and ask it to build it. So let's see what happens. And there it is, a single clean table with all the information we asked for. We didn't have to write a single SQL join. Intugle used the semantic model, including the complex relationships it found to build the query for us automatically. You can also see the query that was used here using the .SQL query property. Perfect. So in just a few minutes, we went from separate raw CSV files to a fully connected semantic graph, and then easily created a unified data product. This is